Warframe is a sci-fi third-person shooter that takes place all over the known solar system. While many people will agree with me when I say it's a good game, that's not what we're here to talk about today. The physics of this game can get a little bit wonky with the super high jumps and crazy movement abilities, but how realistic are the basic mechanics, and how far from the truth are they? My name is Samot, and this is GameBreaking. Warframe has a wide variety of ways to move, from basic sprinting and jumping to full-on wall running and handsprings. The most controversial move in the game, however, is the bullet jump. A bullet jump is a move where the user first crouches, then jumps into the air while spinning to go much higher than a single jump would. Now, I'm not going to argue whether this is possible or not, but I do have to question how much force it would take to do something similar in real life. Luckily for us, we can get an in-game measurement of exactly how high you can jump with this ability using the built-in waypoint system. In order to get accurate measurements from our test, we're only going to use the Excalibur Warframe to do it, since if we use different Warframes, they might have different weights, and so that would throw off our calculations a bit. We're also not going to factor in any of the weapons they're carrying, because again, that could alter their weights. For the purposes of this video, we'll be using the assumed gravitational acceleration values for each planet, because as shown in these clips, Warframes fall at the same speed on all planets regardless of gravity, so it'd be impossible to calculate anything meaningful with it. A standard Excalibur Warframe has a mass of about 95 kilograms, and Earth's gravitational force is 9.81 meters per second squared. So we'll start there. We'll need to calculate the total mechanical energy that the system has by using the height measurements of a standard jump and the estimated mass from earlier. The formula for calculating potential energy is potential energy equals mass times gravity times height. As shown in these clips, the maximum height a Warframe can jump is about 14 meters, but since it's measured from the head position of the Warframe, we're going to have to subtract the 2 that it starts with, so the total distance is about 12 meters. We plug in our values from before, and we get a total result of 11,183.4 joules. Considering that's an object of a little over 200 pounds being thrown 12 meters into the air, it's definitely a plausible answer. From here, we can convert potential energy into kinetic energy using the formula potential energy is equivalent to kinetic energy, which basically states that the maximum amount of potential energy in a system will be equivalent to the maximum amount of kinetic energy in a system. From here, we swap in the equations for both potential energy and kinetic energy, or 1/2 mv squared equals mgh, which stands for 1/2 of mass times velocity squared is equivalent to mass times gravity times height. And then we'll calculate out for velocity. This means that in order to reach the jump height of 12 meters, you would need to reach 15.34 meters per second within the 1 meter distance that the Warframe crouches. To find out how much force that would take, we can use the equation F equals W times 1 plus H divided by P, or force equals weight times 1 plus the quotient of the desired jump height and the push-through height. Of course, this equation uses feet and pounds, so we'll just convert our values into those units for this one. So we once again plug in the values we have, and we get a total of 2,722 pounds of force. Convert this back into newtons, and we get a grand total of 12,111.18 newtons. Just for comparison, it takes about 4,000 newtons to break the average human femur. If you were actually able to attempt this jump, simply moving your legs at that speed would shatter all the bones in both your legs, and you would likely just fall to the ground dead. If you were able to survive the jump successfully, the fall would definitely finish you off, impacting with a force that would shatter multiple ribs and knock you unconscious. Now keep in mind that this is just Earth's gravity, and this game also has a setting on Jupiter. Now, Jupiter has a gravity of 24.79 meters per second squared, which is almost 3 times the gravity of Earth. This means that the impact force will also be 3 times as strong. That same bullet jump would technically take 28,340 newtons of force, which is a similar force to the bite from a large saltwater crocodile. While these values are unreasonable for a human to pull off, there may be some areas where it could be possible for a human to complete that 12-meter jump. For example, Sedna and Ceres are also possible destinations in Warframe, and they have gravities of 0.5 meters per second squared and 0.27 meters per second squared, respectively. These are much lower than Earth's gravity, so it would be entirely possible to pull off a complete bullet jump on these dwarf planets. For example, on Sedna, you would only need a force of 280 newtons to jump that high, while on Ceres, it would be a measly 151 newtons, making these jumps seem easy in comparison to our other values.